You know we be with it, we off in the hood like some wizards. Nobody ever gave us anything. Made something from nothing, just like magicians. Gotta relearn everything. Just to remember that I was forgetting. Just to remember that we had a vision. Did it all, don't know how I did it. Time to go start season to go and you know those crystal truths. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we on the mission. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we on the mission. Off on the mission, you know how it goes. Off in the system, they turn up their nose. They took all the soil, but they didn't know. Through the concrete, you see the ropes. Eyes ain't open, don't mean I ain't woke. Ain't got no cash, don't mean that I'm broke.
Welcome. Welcome to Ascending Beyond Limitations. You were born sovereign. You were born with infinite possibility of all that is and is not. You were gifted a higher beingness with a conscious mind. And you were gifted a higher polarity and a lower polarity so that you could create as the creator that created you. So the creator that created you is still creating through you. And of course, you have to dive into the unknown to make that which is known for you to create from. Are you ready to ask some embodying questions? Are you ready to listen to some embodying, what you might call a truth or not a non-truth? It's all about you. It's about your perception. It's about your thoughts. How you feel about what's being said. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. That's the whole thing. That's how you transform your puzzle pieces. That's how you find out if your whole puzzle base hasn't shifted. You get to find that out. You get to sift and sort through all of your unconsciousness. You get to tell your ego, hey, sit back. Let's take an update. Are you ready? That's all the unknown is. It's tapping in and finding what updates you need as the universal, authentic, cosmic you. You go, Sandee, how can you use universal and cosmic in the same sentence? Because they're different expressions of the divine. But they're all part of the divine. Are you ready? I know I'm ready. Are you ready, Marcus? Back to you.
I know that I am absolutely ready. That's for sure. Just, whew. Wow.
Wow.
Beautiful words, Sandy, I gotta say. Thank you for those words to open up the space. And may we all continue to flow with grace and ease as we move forward and erase and eliminate the disease flowing through our being. It's time to allow the love to flow, overflow in our container till we can't even feel no more. And then you take a breath and lay it to the toes and feel your feet melt to the earthly flow. Time to rise, time to root. Remember to ground while you wear your crown, or else the crown will tilt to the side, where we might start to blame other guys. But remember, we are all one with the flow.
One with the flow. One with the flow. Here's what you can't say this vibration doesn't just flow. Here's what Ross says. I urge you, my friends, to remember what we have brought to you at any one given time. The next time that you are, shall we say, backed into a corner by circumstances that prevail within the illusion of your physical existence, remember. Remember what? Remember that you have learned, and do not forget what you have worked so hard to obtain. Even though your wisdom and your understanding grows, even though it expands, you take what resonates. You grow from that. And when it's time to let go of it, to allow it to go back to form, you allow it to go back to form to make room for more knowledge, more wisdom, more understanding, more shifting, more evolution. It doesn't mean that the knowledge isn't there. It comes back as recall. Your soul can bring it back to you and go, hey, been in this situation again. What do we want to do? See, that vibration isn't here any longer, but the soul says, I recall this. It means it doesn't keep happening to you. It keeps showing up as a different version of energy. What do you want to do with it? How deep do you want to let your vibration of those roots from your feet ground with Mother Earth? How wide do you want to allow that opening of your crown chakra to connect with the divine that is all and that is nothing at the same time? It's up to you. It says you will choose at any time to alter your needs and your desires from within the physical illusion to your being, within the creation of all that is and is not. I know when you read, those have this book, it says with the creation of the Father, but the higher being said to say with all that is and is not, because it's not about a father and a mother. It's about the beingness of all that is and that is not, all at one time and not at time at all. The divine wants you to know that you are a now moment. You're not just having a now moment. You are the now moment. You are the essence of is. And you are the essence of is not. Ross says, as long as your objectives lie within physical illusion, it will be necessary for you to be subject to the laws which prevail within illusion. So as long as you are subject to the illusion, you are going to be part of the illusion. That includes all the illusions of the laws that you're playing in. When you decide not to play in that illusion anymore, it doesn't mean that they fall away. It just means that you see them in a different expression. Why? Because you're growing and you're expanding. We came here to shift. Make no mistake, the divine came to be itself and seek itself in form, and itself in all that is and that is not is shifting and expanding and evolving. And guess what? You do that regardless of being conscious or not, aware or not. That's the gift that the divine gave to every man, woman, and child in this illusion. No one better than the other. All simply special in the story. As the divine, the one creator of all that is and all that is not. The law of one. That's you. It might not make sense to your mind. Your mind is trying to lay it out in a well-formulated line. And it doesn't quite make sense. But then when you have that higher being that is tuned in, tapped into itself, ooh, that's deep. Your higher being is the divine in expression of itself in you. Holy shit. And Ross says, if your desires can be altered by the application of what you are learning and are lifted in the creation of the one infinite, okay, we're going to say it, one infinite one. There's that number again. We're all one infinite one. Now I just got to say it again. Holy shit. One infinite one. I'm Marcus and Marcus is me. We're just having a separate expression. And the divine is saying, I see me as Sandra. I see me as Marcus. And ooh, is that not good? And then the divine says, yes. Why, yes, it is. Ross says, then, my friends, you may have a great deal more ability to remove yourself from the corners into which the illusion seems to back you in. Illusion seems to back you into a corner. But that's just illusion. If you believe it's illusion, then illusion is malleable. It can be changed. It's like clay sitting on a pedestal waiting for you to put your hands on it to create something. And the clay is you. Oh, we're about to get started today. Back to you, Marcus.
Wow. No. Where do we begin, you may ask? Where do we begin to do these things? Well, if I had to give any experiences of my own from wisdom, practices, different teachings, you could always start with a fresh start. And fresh starts, they only begin when you declare it. And you can declare a fresh start, starting right now as you listen to this. You can sit with yourself and just affirm with the universe, I'm gonna start fresh right now. I'm gonna start fresh with, my mindset. I'm going to start fresh with what it is that I'm giving focus to, what it is that I'm putting my time into. And then you start to move from there. One ripple at a time, one moment at a time. And then try to stay in that awareness of yourself. And try to, address things as they arise instead of pushing them aside. So say you have negative thoughts that have been coming up a lot. Try to really sit with those negative thoughts. See where they're coming from, possibly, or maybe like what parts of yourself are not confident or not feeling worthy enough of expressing yourself or taking that next step in your life that you want to take to either achieve your goal or make the change that you want to make for your health or your well-being. You can also consider, what it is that you're eating every day. What are you eating? What are you drinking? Is there anything that you kind of been wanting to cut out, such as, soda, lots of sugar, anything of that, micro to macro level. You can start anywhere. Doesn't matter if it is macro or micro. And the micros always lead up to the macro. And you can always break the macro down into micros. So it's yin and yang, always. And then with that, also you can try out a new meditation that you maybe haven't tried out yet that you've been thinking about. Or you can do a breathwork session that you've never tried. Or you can think about also like, what is something that my inner child has just been really wanting to explore, or something that really keeps me alive and makes me feel really childlike in nature and just really have fun and laugh and have joy. If there's anything that you may have stopped watching, that could be a cartoon or anime, anything that kind of uplifts your spirit, or even some music, dance, things of that nature. These are just some good ways that you could always start at zero and just start over and just try to get some positive energy flowing through you and kind of build off of it. Momentum is something that comes up for me a lot. And with momentum, I feel like it's not focused on very much, so to say. So, we'll do something and we'll feel kind of like a good high from it or positive upliftment. But then it kind of fades away because kind of this, after getting that glow and that high, then kind of just cycle back down into our old habits, routines. And we're not like actually integrating the things that we're learning during our highs and our upliftment. Or that achieved energy, so to say, and then integrate that, we can see that there's ways that we can begin to develop a natural connection to that feeling, a natural and more quick connection to that feeling as well. So with that, routines have really been fundamental in a lot of the teachings and the people I've been connecting with lately. And it's a way of really allowing yourself to be able to be a container, to be moved through spirit, is having these routines and having these things in place that allow us to be clear and allow us to remain grounded as well as connected to our higher source. But yeah, back to you.
Yeah, it's when you're backed into a corner. And here's the thing: when you're backed into a corner, it's by a version of you. It may show up as another person, but because we're all wholeness, because we're all one, it's an aspect of the divine self showing up. And usually energy attracts energy. And we would say, well, I wouldn't have done that to me. The thing is, it's okay. But if you backed yourself into a corner with a situation or a circumstance from someone else, it's because two energies match. And it's all right. All you got to do is figure out the energy on your end, not theirs. Sometimes you can shift the polarity of the energy by having, like Marcus says, changing the momentum of what you're doing. Watching a happy movie. It doesn't mean the situation changes. It means your focus on it changes. Doesn't mean that the situation is going to disappear, but your energy given to it that makes that situation continually grow and keep you pinned in that corner starts to change. Right? Ross says, to some who may read these words, the concept may seem to be a less than practical or certainly over idealistic, I'm trying to say that word, and I'm trying to put it in separate category. Idealistic methods of discussing what many have called New Age or Age of Aquarius. You know how everybody has said that's, iffy wiffy, that's whammy pamby, that's, that's wishy-washy. But the thing is, it's about what you call it, how you perceive it. If you perceive it wishy-washy, then guess what? That energy is going to be what? It'll be wishy-washy, right? Ross says, it certainly seems unlikely that an entire planet could go so wrong philosophically, and that beings, supposedly more advanced than we, would care enough about us to attempt to help us. That's what the questioner is saying. It's like, but the divine said, if you call me, I'm going to answer. It's like you being the rich kid and calling your dad while he's in the middle of a conference, and then he leans over to his people and says, I need you to go take care of help my son right now, this minute. And they say, got it. And before you know it, they're there, picking you up out the corner. That's the divine. Got it. I'm sending an expression of me to help you. Doesn't matter whether you see it as mamby-pamby, wishy-washy, maybe sort of, it might be, it's good. If you call, the divine will answer. Why? Because the divine is an expression of you, seeking you in every area that you are. And if you are backed in a corner, that expression of the divine will send another expression of itself to answer the call. You may call it extraterrestrial, or you may call it alien, but they're still answering the call. Ra answered the call. A whole planetary system that could go be anything, do anything in any part of the galaxy that is the divine, sat out in the cosmos of the earth, answering the call. Whether we thought that they were for our greater good or not. It's about being backed in a corner and asking for help. This is what the divine is saying right now. You got to ask for help. There are people that are going to give you infinite possibilities and ways to help you. It could be people saying, we're going to give you an infinite possibility of helping you take care of your body. Let's get you to exercise and move in your body. That's helping you to eat right. Let's help you to focus on things that make you laugh and not think about so many negative things. I mean, there's an infinite plethora of ways that can help you change the way you perceive your status quo of being backed up against the corner. It's about your perception, no one else's. But the call has been answered in so many infinite ways. Ra is not the only way, but Ra, they have been in that interdimensional vibration of the plane, answering the call, even after this book was written. They are sitting on the edge of the abyss of the divine, answering the call. They've been called many names. We're waiting for, some are waiting for the second coming of Jesus. The consciousness of Jesus has already came. Many, many times, answering the call. And infinite possibilities. You're sitting looking at them, one of them right now. Oh, yeah, you are. Infinite possibilities. Infinite expressions. Doesn't mean he has to go run out and say, I'm Christolight and I'm the expression of the divine. I'm the expression of the cosmos. No. You're going to feel it. You're going to see it. You're going to express it. And then he's going to morph into something more. Right? It says, my friends, man on earth has become very short-sighted in appreciation of the creation. You're backed into that corner and you're very short-sighted of how you can get out of it. All you got to do is ask. Doesn't mean you have to be religious to ask the divine for help. Doesn't have to mean you have to believe. It means you just have to ask. Go inward and ask, who am I? Who do I want to be in this situation? What do I want to see when this situation is ended? You go inward and you ask. And then the divine says, all right, I see what you want. I see what you see. Doesn't have to be raw. doesn't have to be Bashar. It doesn't have to be Abraham. It doesn't have to be Jesus consciousness. All it has to be is that you ask. Infinite possibilities within you when you're backed in a corner. What do you want to see when you're not in that corner anymore? What do you want to embody when you're not in that corner anymore? How do you want it to present itself to you? You are the creator. Show it. Speak it, feel it, and embody it. So much so that there is no way that the divine can move around it or over it. The divine has to go through it and embrace it. The one true divine, the only true law of one divine, the all that is and the all that is not, all at once, moving through you to say, let it be so. Back to you, Marcus.
Oh gosh. I tell you what, I feel that Mars and Gemini energy. Gemini is feeling a little bit of fury, the communication. Wow. And we got the Leo energy coming in. Happy Leo season to everybody. We're now gonna shine a little bit brighter, lead a little bit naturally, and step a little bit more into our beauty and authenticity with no remorse, no negativity, just being ourselves, shining our light, sharing who we are, sharing our love in many different ways and frames that we do. And I really look forward to it. I'm glad to be in this journey with all of you guys. And I just want to say, like, you know, get your seat cozy, get your popcorn, get your snacks, your tea, things that you really enjoy on this earth plane, because we're in for a ride, we're in for a journey. And you guys got us. You got us and many others that are here. And we're here to not only become more aware of ourselves, but also have a good time. And yeah, I'm really grateful. So there was a question on the Facebook side from Adam. And I believe Adam is a brother I just met over the weekend at the wonderful Chill Fire Fest that I was at in Pennsylvania, New Eagle, Pennsylvania, that is. And shout out to all of them. Alan, his partner. Man, I could really go through all the names, but thank you to each and every one of you that were there and shared that space, hosted the community, and allowed me to be myself there. It's very beautiful, and it was a blessing for sure. I was able to teach them about the 7 chakras, do a guided meditation, and just really have beautiful, beautiful community connection. There was kids everywhere, family, good music. It was beautiful. But Adam, his question, why do you think that keeps us from creating more powerful habits when often we find a source or actions we know heal and grows us? Why is it so hard to keep going towards these habits? Okay, I see what you're asking. So you're pretty much asking, why is it difficult to basically stay in routine with your habits, is what I'm guessing you're saying. Feel free to put in the comments if that is not what you're asking.
I think one of his words was more permanent habits. Yeah.
So I'll give you a multi-layered answer to this. So from like a metaphysical standpoint or a multi-dimensional standpoint of how our human being operates. So the human being basically operates off of pattern, repetition, and consistency. Okay, yeah. So to clarify, it's with the habits that are so clearly good for us in particular. Yeah, okay. So this will answer that for you. So our human being naturally, as a component of its container or vessel, however you'd like to describe it. It's designed to basically be driven and live off of patterns, habits, and repetition, consistency of that as well. So as beings that are made of patterns, in order to program the human being, it programs through patterns. Patterns, or we can say cycles, repetition, and consistency of that. And through that is through different vibration and energetic experiences or programmings that are being downloaded into your vessel. With that being said, the things that you are doing the most throughout your life, the things that you are most consistent at, the things that you're most repetitious at, things that you are ingraining the most into your whole entire being system, beginning with your mental programming, to the subconscious mind, to your nervous system and cells, to the way that your brain and neurological function happens. This is all going to be in sync with each other. And what affects one is going to affect the other as well in a streamlined connection. That being said, what it is that you're doing the most and most repetitious and consistent throughout your life as your habits and routines, it's going to be the most ingrained or most normal and natural to your being, to your human self, your vessel. So with that being said, when you think about anything in our lives, when we're stripping something from ourselves and trying to basically detox from that or change from that, we typically go through kind of like a period of either side effects, or we go through a period where we need to put a little bit more effort into being consistent, being repetitious about these new patterns or these new programmings that we're trying to install into our being. So with that being said, depending upon what it is that we're focused on, if there are a lot of layers, a lot of deep conditioning and programming surrounding certain things that we're focusing on, it can take a little bit more energy, a little bit more effort, a little bit more consistency of repetition in order to, number one, be able to clear out that default programming that's there, or that habit that's been there. And then also give ourselves the grace and the gentleness and the love of knowing that it's going to be a process. This process, it could take a quantum day. It could take a couple months. It could take a few years, depending upon what it is that we're trying to reprogram. So with that being said, typically the things that are quote unquote clearly good for us, that we're trying to achieve or trying to embody more of, it could take more time due to the level of energy or the level of vibration that we're trying to reach or trying to maintain within our being. That being said, if we're trying to obtain a higher frequency, then that means our shadows or whatever is causing resistance within our energy field is going to be brought to the surface, to be consciously released, consciously addressed, or whatever it is that may happen in your living moment. And with that being said, old patterns will rise, old habits will rise. You will get tested by your old self. You'll get tested by your shadows. And that's part of the resistance of, are we truly going to embody and take the journey of raising up into those frequencies? And that's what it takes in order to get there. So yeah, last thing I want to say about it is, mindset goes a long way. Mindset, man, I can go on for days about mindset, but Just think about the mindset you have about it. Try to remember how far you've already come in your life, the things that, you know, you've been able to achieve, you've been able to overcome. And know that, you know, where you're at now compared to where you used to be and where you're also trying to be, it's just going to gradually keep on building for you. It'll keep on getting quote unquote better, so to say, you know, just by looking at what you have achieved and what you are subtly doing right now. But if you ever need guidance, Adam or anybody else out there, and thank you for that question, really good question, just reach out and I'll definitely provide you any guidance I can. And I'm sure Sandee would as well.
Yeah, I've got something to that question as well. Adam, embodiment is all about intention plus energy equals creation. You got to give yourself grace while you're doing it. If you intend to change something in or change a habit in your life that you have been used to doing, that your ego has been used to doing, the ego meaning it could be any part of your shadow self, right? The intention is the embodiment, what you want to do. I want to no longer put sugar in my body. I intend to no longer put sugar in my body. Well, that's the intention. The energy behind it is, what are you going to do? And how is it going to look to you? Not to anybody else who's been doing this same fast or whatever. It's about you. It's about giving yourself grace. You were born grace. It's about opening yourself up and going inward and saying, no matter how many times I fall in trying to do this, I'm going to pick myself up. I'm going to start again. I'm not going to at least listen to my egoic self. And don't beat yourself up with your ego. You were given your ego for a reason. And it was created by the divine for a reason. It wasn't created to be beat up. It was created to be, to shift, to expand, to rise, grow, and to merge back with the divine. It was your ego was given to you to give you an outside view of the world, so it could bring it into you, so that you could take it in and say what you want to do with it or what you don't, including updates. That's all you're doing when you have an intention to change something that is no longer for your greatest good, i.e. sugar. Right? So intention, that's the first point, at least I believe, my perception of, to changing, to growing, to expanding, to shifting, is intention. Plus, you were born energy. You get to take your energy and zap it. And then with your embodiment of what it's going to look like for you at the end of your growth spurt of change, saying, I'm going to be free and clear of all sugar-based products, if you so choose, this is what it's going to look like. It's not saying, is it going to be easy? That's a bullet point of the ego to make you not want to do it. Doesn't matter if it's easy or not, because you're giving yourself grace. All right? And it's about you wanting to change. Also, is that your perception of what you want to do? Do you want to knock sugar out, or are you wanting to knock sugar out because somebody's kind of twisting your arm and got you in a corner saying, well, if you want to be with me, you got to be free of sugar. You got to be 100% vegan or vegetarian or what is that, pescatarian or whatever. You have to make sure that you are doing it for you. Otherwise, you're not going to give yourself the grace you need to give yourself to change anything and grow and expand in anything. I hope that helps you. I really do. I really do. Because the more you do it for you, and the more you grow and expand for you, sometimes easy breezy is going to be just easy breezy. Sometimes you're going to go, oh my God, I never thought I could do it, but I did it and it was so easy. Why? Because you did it for you. Growth and expansion for you. So I hope that helps. Now, along with that, Ross says, mankind on earth, mankind meaning men, women, and children, mankind on earth has lost the awareness that is rightfully theirs. You never really truly lose anything. That's the terminology that Ra used in the vessel that was Ra was channeling through. The thing is, awareness gets put in the back seat. You never really lose awareness. But the moment that you have a quiet moment about you, and you say, I am aware, awareness kind of moves to the forefront. Ego, that ego consciousness moves to the back seat. And you have that moment where you say, I'm aware. And awareness says, what are you aware of? I'm aware that I can't have any more sugar because it's not good for my body. Because I've been to the doctor too many times and my levels are off the chart. Do you see how I took that? It wasn't that you had a negative commentary from the doctor. The doctor just took your blood and said, hey, you need to cut back. And what doctors do is they'll tell you what they believe you should or shouldn't do, and then they'll leave it for you to make that discernment. And you're the one that has to say, I'm aware. I was aware that soda pop wasn't great for me. Not that I don't drink it, but I was aware that the darker colas, they weren't good for my body. And I was aware that, hey, I was addicted and I needed to give myself grace to allow my body to acclimate to the fact that I wasn't going to drink it anymore. But it had to be about me. Because there was a ton of people that would say, you need to stop drinking Coke because I don't drink Coke and it's blah, blah, blah. But when it became about me and not about someone else, then I could become the creator of the change. I became aware. And yes, my ego was testing me. Now, upon occasion, I'm not going to lie to you, I will drink a Sprite. I will drink the non-cola. You know, I grew up in the age where it was cola nut or uncola nut. Ha 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 ha. Right? That commercial. So I drink things without the uncola nut, but I don't drink soda as much. Right? But if I do have soda, I will have either a Sprite or a root beer. But now I'm into ginger beer. I get it from Trader Joe's, but I don't make other people do what I want to do for my body, because they have to do whatever they need for them because they want to do it. And they're aware of giving themselves grace. So I hope that helps. And I'm here if you need to talk about it. Soul Awakening with Sandra. You can DM me. We can set up an appointment and we can talk about it. Or if you just need my star meditations, we can just meditate about it. And some light language. I'm here. So I hope that helps. Ross says they have lost this because they have focused their attention upon devices and inventions of their own. The reason why the divine showed me this is because every time I turn around, at least on Instagram and TikTok, we are being shown the fast, get this and you'll have a fast result. Right? And most of humanity is getting it, but they're not discerning it. They're not going and looking. They're taking other people's word at it, but go look up the information yourself and sit at the seat of your soul with it and ask the divine to show you that which you cannot see. Because what works for one person is not going to work for you. Why? Because you're a unique expression of the divine. You're given a unique body. What works for one person's body may not work for you. And yes, we're all expressions of the divine, and we all come from the root of earth consciousness, and everything we believe on that the earth makes is good for all of us. Not so. You are unique. If coconut works for one person, it might not work for somebody else. So you can suggest all the coconut water you want to somebody, but if their body isn't receiving it in, but you still want them to be sick because you know coconut is for them, is that for their greatest good or for yours? Because you want to be right? What works for you works for you. What works for someone else might not. Take what resonates for you and let them make a decision for themselves. For me, I know coconut, I know exactly when I have it or have remnants of it. I get a major headache and I get the major shakes. I have a physical form body. Coconut may be good for the body, but it's not good for mine. Now, if it's good for someone else, I say, go for it. So do I have to drink a different type of water? Yes. That's me as my example. Shellfish, another one. Shellfish, I love the sea. I love salmon. I love some other type of fish, but shellfish closes up my throat. Am I supposed to die because somebody tells me that all of Mother Earth is good for me? I have to sit at the seat of my soul and ask the divine, what is good for my body? That's for your growth and expansion. If 150,000 people can fast, can do a water fast or a juice fast for 7 days, but you can only do it for 3 days before your body says, "Oh, can't do it anymore." Are you going to respect your body, or are you going to disrespect your body? Try to do it for 7 days. And take your body into total collapse, and then blame your body because it's something's wrong with it. Do you see what I mean? You got to do it for you. Your body is going to talk to you. Your conscious mind is going to talk to you. The divine is going to talk to you. And if you're sitting and listening, you're going to find out you're such a unique, beautiful creator. I love how the divine said that in me. Creature. Just a creature. You're a creative creature. You're one of a kind. You're unique to the expression of the divine, having a unique relationship with you. Sit and respect yourself. So I hope that helps, Adam. I hope that helps with the question. Back to you, Marcus. Ooh. Living water.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, wow. Close out that segment, that question. Just last thing I gotta say is, also think about, like, what is it that you're doing to help either, occupy that space, that time, that focus that you've built a habit and pattern around. Are you doing anything to replace that, so to say? Are you doing anything to give your mind, emotions, and body something to focus on instead of what that is that you're removing? And that's something that we learn through addiction rooms, NA, AA, and other places as well, is really being able to develop new habits. And even when it comes to diet, people talk about it in diet, and they're changing their diet. Are you replacing the things that you're removing? Because those things that you're removing could have a attachment or a codependency within your being. And if that's just stripped away, then sometimes it could be likely we just fall right back into old patterns. But, if we're finding things, for example, with the sugar, a great way to replace sweets is eating more fruit, because fruit has natural sugars in it. So what I find is whenever I'm in that type of mode, because I don't want to eat sweets as much, I'll make sure I have more fruit at home available for me. And then I'll find myself going to that fruit. And, as soon as I taste that fruit for the first time, it then reminds me of the reason why I got it. Things like that. Just keep in mind, like, when you're, because, some of these strong habits are like, man, they're really, really hard to break.
They really are.
But yeah, finding those new ways to be able to give your focus, your energy, and time something to build and feel well with, great key.
And it's not only just food. It's not just food. It's in every area of our lives. It could be even the affinity to money, or to things, or to being kind of like being like the Joneses next door. I gotta have what they have. I gotta have what they have because they're happy. And you want to keep up with the Joneses. You're taking yourself out of whack of doing it. Whack meaning that you don't have enough money to do all the things you need to do, but you're going to do it till the point where you're just you're in debt up to the heel, trying to be like the Joneses because you think the Joneses are happy, right? Well, that's a habit. You have to break that habit. It's hard because you have to sit and find out, well, what is my reason? Why I want everything they have? Remember, we said that you have to do things for you. So what's that reason that I'm doing this? And I believe for me, I'm going to be happy having what they have, especially when you can't see what's going on behind their closed doors. You don't know if they're really happy or not with all the things that they have, right? But you have to, and it's hard, man, breaking down those thought patterns that got you there. And you do have to have something to replace them, but that means that you have to sit with yourself long enough and sit and shine if you want to say it, a soulful light on those shadows. And then invite those shadows that have that information to come forward, which means you got to give yourself grace. Otherwise, those shadows don't feel like they're worthy of coming forward because they feel like you're going to judge them. But when you give yourself grace and you shine the light on them, you get to find out why you have all these old habits that are no longer for your highest and greatest good. And give yourself grace as you're allowing these old habits to go from form back to formless. And it takes time. Nothing happens over. You might see some spiritual people talking about how they're healed and that it didn't take that long, but you're not them. You're you. They're a unique expression of the divine, and so are you. You cannot be Sandee M. or Marcus Christolight. You can be you, and you can give yourself grace. Give yourself patience. Give yourself understanding. Give yourself the opportunity to make a mistake and then go back and look at the mistake not as judgment, as discernment. Back to you, Marcus. I know. I hear you. Ross said, he says, we have, as human beings, become hypnotized by our playthings. I just told you, I grew up with the cola nut and the uncola nut. Ha 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 ha. Every time that commercial came on, I was hypnotized with this man's voice. Because that was I think it was 7-Up, trying to get you to buy 7-Up. We're hypnotized. We're hypnotized. But it's okay. Guess what? We are individualized expressions of the divine, and what we were, we can become something else. We call it shifting. I'm just saying. I had to finish that paragraph. Now it's back to Marcus. Oh.
Perfect. Yeah, so, just remember out there, everybody. Whatever it is that you would like to become, whatever it is that you would like to embody or achieve, try to remember to embrace the journey. To remember that it's a process, and it's always going to be a process, as there is no destination. There is no finite reality. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you want to experience the delusion of a finite reality, feel free. But you are invited to embrace a non-finite reality, a reality of continuous motion that truly never stops or begins. but continues to flow like a wave in different frequencies and vibrations and embodiments within your body frame. It begins with our mental thought patterns. Will you take time to sit with your thoughts? Will you take the time to parent your thoughts? Like a guardian. Just knowing that your thoughts are like little children running around that are just curious, innocent, just sharing what they've experienced through our mind because of what we've absorbed in the world. Will you have the patience enough to know that sometimes the recording system needs some new tape that's going to be placed in it? And sometimes that tape's got to get warmed up a little bit before it gets fully into gear. And then after a little bit of time, a little bit of love, a little bit of that elbow grease, those new programmings and those tapes come crystal clear. Next thing you know, you're just in a whole entire new version of yourself. And you're just like, wow, oof. It was so worth having the patience of letting go of those patterns, giving myself the grace to know that this is for the long term, for longevity. And instant gratification it's cool and all, but I see now where, instant gratification is keeping me in loops and patterns and cycles. And having this patience and holistic approach, I can clear away the cords, the roots, what's at the core of it all. So then in the long term, I don't have to deal with it much longer in my system again. And if I do come across it, I'll have a newfound awareness of what it is. And then maybe this time, I'll just know it's not for me to experience. And I continue on up. Question from Adam.
Before we take that question, here's what Roz says. Keep uppermost in your mind that he was just talking about illusion. Keep uppermost in your mind that the illusion that you experience is an illusion, that it is surrounding you for the purpose of teaching you. Marcus was just talking about illusion. I had just looked at that, and then Marcus said illusion out his mouth, and that's where he went with that. Roz says that it is surrounding you for the purpose of teaching you. It can only teach you if you become aware it's teaching. It is said that he worked his wonders in mysterious ways. This way may seem mysterious. However, it is the way of spiritual involvement. Evolvement. Illusion, and the fact that you get to create it. Now that you know, many people have told you that this is illusion. You can be anything you want to be. You have infinite possibilities of being it. Everyone, all well over 8 billion of us came here to have a journey. The divine, is multidimensional, and he, she, it, they are having a journey through you. They're the expression of you. Without you, divine couldn't do it here in this third density. Doesn't mean you're not supposed to grow, expand. It doesn't mean that you're not supposed to evolve. It doesn't mean that you're not supposed to go to the next consciousness and see it through a different lens. It just means that you're unique in doing it. It just means that if you know that it is illusion, illusion is malleable and you can create it and change it. And you have to put yourself in the middle of it and say, what do I want and why do I want it and how much of it do I want? And then intention plus the energy creates the illusion that you want for as long as you want it. And then when you're ready to change it, who are you? You're the creator of the illusion. You get to allow it to go, hey, this is no longer for my greater good. I played with it enough. Just like a kid on a playground. You stop the tetherball and you say, this is boring me. I'm ready to play another game, and you walk away. Back to you, Marcus.
With that being said, know where you are. As in, know what you're getting yourself into while we're in this existence. Because as soon as we consent, sign contracts, make agreements to certain things, we then give permission for everything that comes with it to be involved in our life, in our field, in our energy. So, for example, you can achieve and become anything you'd like to. But keep in mind what it is that you're wishing for. As I say, be careful what you wish for. Because sometimes you could wish for something that is more of the complete extreme or close to the extreme of where you are in your contrast. And there's been instances, I've sat with shamans, I've sat with, great grandmother spirit beings that are still on this earth. And, they talk about specifically one that I had on a podcast lately. She said to spirit, I want to remove anything out of my life that is not of my highest light. So she lost her relationship, family members passed over. There were some other things that, quote unquote, were lost in a pretty profound way. And that was due, to that wish of, I want everything that's not in my life that is on my highest light removed from my light. So that, the relationship that wasn't embodying that dropped away, and then other things dropped away as well. So when I say that, I say that because, be honest with yourself, be kind of real with yourself on who it is you want to become and what you want to embody, and know what it can take to take that path. For example, if you want to be someone that is trying to embody and be a Christ conscious healer, or somebody that is trying to really be deep into groups and go into deep communities and be a Christ conscious figure, well, know that you're going to face a lot of your impulses. You're going to face a lot of your shadows. You're going to have to reprogram a lot of your habits and patterns that don't support embodying a Christ conscious figure on this planet. You can do the example of you want to become an NBA player when you're a little kid because you play basketball. Well, what does it take to achieve that? You don't just get handed that. You don't just, here, you're an NBA player. You got to dedicate yourself to going to the gym before and after practices. Be the one that goes extra lengths. Got to be the one that puts in the effort to make your being and your body become in alignment and be in resonance in the frequency and the embodiment of what that is that you truly want to become. So yeah, just that reminder of keep in mind what it takes to become what it is that you're trying to become. And then when the universe starts serving you the lessons and the experiences that sharpen you and allow you to have wisdom and information to become that, just try to remember, this is what we asked for. And sometimes it deals with going through pain, suffering, and hardship in order to have the experience of the contrast, to have, the gratitude as well as the awareness of what something truly is.
Yeah. And to know that when you become aware of these, know that you do have the opt-out clause. You really do. If you're doing discernment for your highest and greatest good, the story is the contract that we have is not like a human contract. The contract that we have is like two kids playing on the playground. We came into this experience and said, I'll play with you, you play with me. When it's time for us to go, hey, I don't want to play on the playground because it's no longer for my highest and greatest good, you're using the opt-out clause. It means that you get to have a seat at the seat of your soul and say, have we played enough in this density of whatever density you were playing in, whether it's a higher density and you're ready to move on, you're done being that celebrity in the celebrity field. You want to go and be a doctor because you got your degree in being a doctor. You were a celebrity, a well-known celebrity for a while. Now you don't want to play on that playground. Doesn't mean you have to keep being a celebrity, even though you don't want to be a celebrity. It means I opt out of this because, number one, it doesn't bring me joy anymore. I don't feel happy. I feel stressed and, all these things. And then you go, I want to opt out. Well, how do you opt out? You acknowledge that you're not happy in it. And then you find something else that you want to be happy in. And you say, I'm closing this chapter and I'm moving on to another one that's for my highest and greatest good. You get to do it for you. Remember, the story is about you. There are over 8 billion people having a story, and the divine says, let it be so. There is room enough for everyone to play in Earth School. Her playground is ginormous. Why? Because it's full of energy. And the contract, you can break it anytime you want. You just have to decide when you've had enough. And your higher being will say, well, I only came to feel it for just a little bit. All I wanted to feel was what lack felt like. And then you go, well, I'm done being a person in lack. I want to have some abundance in all areas of my life. I want to have abundance in currency. I want to have abundance in happiness. I want to have abundance in a satisfying relationship that is for my highest and greatest good. I want to have abundance of grandkids. I want to have abundance of whatever it is you want to have abundance of. It's you. It's about you. When you're backed in to that corner, it's about you getting out of the corner. And how it doesn't matter how you break the contract, you just move to another part of the playground and say, I'm playing another game. And guess what? The higher being that you were playing the game with on the other side of the contract will invite another higher being will say, oh, it's my turn. I'm going to play with you. It's hard to recognize it that way when we're dealing with life as hardship. It's hard to recognize it as just mere energy or illusion, and that we can change it that way at a drop of a hat. But the thing is, we're triune. We're a higher vibrational being having this gorgeous costume of a body with a glorious conscious mind. We're triune, and we get to be all parts of ourselves, all at the same time, or intermittently different at different times. And it's okay for us to dive into the form portion of it and feel and kind of, you know, salivate in it, and, swim in it, and walk through the mucky muck, and go through the terrible feelings, and walk around like we're victims. It's okay. Why? Because that's an experience. Because those other aspects of you, those other expressions of you are going to show up and say, you had enough? And if you don't show up and say, I've had enough, then they come back around and ask again until you have this quiet moment where you go, I had enough. And then they go, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to go here. Come on out the corner. Stop holding the corners. Stop holding the corners. Let go, let go, let go. Right? I'm saying, I know how that felt. Been there, done that several fucking times. So what was the question? What was that question? Did we answer the question in us talking?
Oh, the question. Since we are eternal, ionized experience must be an important one. This very well may be the only finite vessel we may know. Well, my answer to that is, well, well, so the vessel, this vessel here, this vessel is always changing. It's never actually the same through our whole lifetime. So I don't know if you do want to say that this is a finite vessel because of the scientific fact that biologically we're always changing. This body is never the same. It's actually constantly at movement. It's never truly at rest, as all in the mental existence of creation is never truly at rest. Everything is a vibration and frequency and energy. Even when we're just sitting, we're still vibrating. Even when we're laying down sleeping, our body's vibrating with millions and billions of living organisms, constructing and consciously doing things. And then we even consciously and mentally project out of that body frame at night into another bodily form of a different light dimension at the parallel time of our physical bodies still being alive, still living with organisms, healing itself and regenerating through conscious electricity and energy, on top of whatever other minerals and vitamin compounds you have been placed into your vessel. And then all these other things going on too. But yeah, it's very easy for us to believe that matter means finite just because we're seeing at it and looking at it with our eyes, our physical eyes, that is. But yeah, this matter is all illusion that is changing and will continue to change. That's why even like your desk, you may have had your desk for 10 years, but yeah, you've had that desk for 10 years, but there's a couple of chips off the edges of it now. There's a leg that's kind of not screwed in all the way now. It's not the same exact desk it was 10 years ago. It may be a desk, because that's what we're identifying it as, but it's a different form and a different current bodily state of what that is. So yeah,
It's a whole different, it's a whole different vibration. Look, if you look at it this way, from birth till death, you have changed. Now, I have had people say to me that knew me growing up, and now, oh, Sandra, you haven't changed. But yeah, there are some features that haven't changed. But I had, once upon a time, I had not jet black, but very dark brown hair. Then my hair changed because I had lovely streaks of red in them, and they started, protruding out. And then, as growth, here I am. Look at my hair. It's very dark brown, but it's got a lot of gray. I've changed. Our bodies are constantly changing. Once upon a time, if you look at the parts of the parables in the Bible, people lived 900 years. They lived 1,000 years. A lot of us think it's a story, but our bodies were meant to live a long time. Even in third density, it was, but it took on our story. Now you look at news and you hear people living till 101. It used to be that when they lived till 80, it was a big deal. Now they live to 99, it was a big deal. Now you've got in certain different places, they're living to 119. There was just a man who celebrated his 119th birthday. Very of sound mind. So the body is always vibrating. And as Marcus said about the desk vibrates. It's just the lower vibrate. Once upon a time, before that desk became the desk, it was a vibratory tree. It was a living thing. And its consciousness became the desk. It knew it was going to come here to be that. The trees know. The flowers know. The ground knows what is coming here to be. The animals know what is coming here to be. That's why I give thanks when I eat my chicken or my salmon. I give thanks to the consciousness that was that animal, because it came here to be my meal. It knew it was going to be Sandra's meal. You think when you eat vegetables that it's different than an animal. Your vegetables were living things that had consciousness. It came here to be your broccoli when you ate it. It's just the moment that you took it off the stalk, it started to vibrate differently in its growth and how you were going to use it. It's about intention plus energy. It's about you wanting to create your body the way you want it. It's about growth and expansion. Your body can is if you want, it can start to become like fifth density body, light body. And maybe you will eat differently. Maybe you won't even need to eat vegetables or be a vegetarian. Maybe you'll only be drinking waters and other type of nutrients. These are the infinite possibilities. And maybe everybody won't be doing that. Everybody doesn't have to do that. Some people don't have to have an awakening or a soul awakening or a spiritual awakening moment. They just live life. And because they're living life and they're enjoying their life, they share their light quotient with the earth consciousness and humanity. So what? We get to shift in form body, and we get to evolve. And maybe one day you don't need to get shot or hit by a car or have a self deprecating moment in losing your body. You just go to sleep and you wake up in another dimension. Or you get to be like it is thought to be that Jesus had that moment of body, mind, and soul just going from one vibrational moment into another. Body, mind, and soul. Infinite possibilities, baby. What works for one person might not be for another. There are a lot of human beings, body, mind, and soul, having a moment, having an expressional moment. And they might be walking around in light bodies. Some people might be calling them, oh, they're an alien, oh, they're Arcturian, oh, they're, they have to have a label for it. If you see me walking around and it looks like I'm floating, I don't care what label you got for me. That's my light body. I'm happy. It's all right. I'm experiencing third density in my light body. Why? Because it's multi-dimensional. Every place you walk is a possibility where you walk into another dimensional portal. People do it all the time and just never see it. We walk in and out of them. We might be walking next to a whole nother fourth dimensional, and there are people walking in through and in through, and we're sharing. My place, my apartment is sharing a dimension with somebody else that's walking past me going, ooh, I felt her. It's infinite possibility. This is what Ra is talking about. Once you get backed out of a corner and once you allow yourself to be open up to infinite possibilities, doesn't mean it has to be for the other person, but for you, what's it going to be? Doesn't mean somebody else has to follow you down the yellow brick road, but are you going? Doesn't mean that somebody has to follow you down your rabbit hole, but are you going? And are you going to enjoy yourself, grow, expand, and become something more in that moment? It's about you and your moment. And you are absolutely right. It's about the I and I. The big I is the law of one, the one true creator. And that other big I is you as the creator. Holy shit. I'm just saying. Lordy,
Man.
Lordy.
Portals.
Portals, baby, portals. I tune myself
Your doors
to
are portals.
impulses.
Guys, our doors are portals. As soon as we open the door and go into a room, we just step through a portal. A literal portal.
A literal portal.
You step outside.
Doesn't matter that man created the door,
Portal.
but it's a portal.
Man.
Oh,
We
man.
fantasize so much about what is actually our reality that, in this human existence, we forget what our actual reality is, and we make it all, science
This is
fiction.
the fact that we're talking to you via our computers and our laptops. Those are portals.
Yeah.
Those are portals that take us through time as well.
Oh yeah.
It's 5:20 here, and it's 8:20 there where he is. I've crossed the portal. I've broken the time barrier. Holy shit.
Look at that. Multiple times all at once.
All at once. And I said, I want to be an international, inspirational and motivational speaker and podcaster. And my page is across the world. It may not be 8 billion people, but at least a few of them are in the UK and down under, and there's a couple in Iceland. I'm breaking the barriers, so can you. And it's okay to acknowledge that you're doing it. Because the more you acknowledge that you're doing it, the more you do it. Growth, expansion, baby. Yum, yum, yum. It's 7:20 where Crystal is. Right? Did he freeze? Nope. There he is.
I was in a portal.
He was in a portal. Oh, yeah. He was in a portal. Every time we read a comment, we're in a portal.
Ah, man. So, this is how you can really have just everyday life fun, guys. Like, thinking this way, remembering this way. It really, for me at least, I know it really lights me up. Like, it brings this, like, it releases the cap, it feels like, where it might have felt like you had a box on or something, and then as soon as you start thinking, like, oh wow, like, we really are in these energetic portals that are just in time and space, and shape-shifting and manipulating and moving around all these illusions and projecting illusions through our own minds and consciousness. And then, like, yeah, man, it's just so much delightfulness within that. And I look forward to doing more of that with all of you.
It truly is. It truly is. It's like, I'm just saying, it's I'm thinking, what am I thinking? It's 5:23 here. 3 hours, literally 3 hours and forward. That's Marcus. And then you take it forward Atlantic time, and then you do UK. They're 8 hours ahead of me, and 5 hours ahead of you. We're crossing portals all the time, whether we call them time or whether we're just actually walking through them. Think about it. As you're walking on the street, how many portals are you walking through? That you're actually walking next to somebody that you physically can't see with your physical eyes. But the more that you ask to see that you sit at the seat of your soul and you ask your higher being, let me see that which I cannot see with my physical eyes. Let me see it with my spiritual eyes. And really mean it. Then you start to see more than just the shadows that move. I see things that move, and I go, oh, awesome, right? Glorious. I even chuckle because I see other animals sitting next to my dog and seeing into into a portal. There is a portal sitting in my apartment of someone else having a life. I'm just saying. And once you let go of the fear of, oh, how is that going to affect me? And you go, well, it's not. Because it used to be once upon a time, third density and fourth density shared the same earth at the same time in different frequencies. And they knew it until third density, the beings of third density, had amnesia. Amnesia is not a bad thing. You have an awakening moment if you need to. Some people wake up, some people don't. But it doesn't mean that they're not living life. And it doesn't mean that they weren't chosen for this experience. It just means, what are you choosing to do with yours? Focus on you. You get to decide what questions you're going to ask about you, or if you're even going to ask questions. Raw, a 6 density complex. The whole planet is raw. They shifted and became a 6 density complex that is watching over us. Yet we say they're trying to hurt us, when they're only holding space for us, because the call was put out by Earth Consciousness, who knew that humanity had to shift with her, and she put the call out that she needed to shift again. And she shifted at least twice that we know of. No, 3, 4th density, 5th density, and she shifted 6th density. At least that we know of. Doesn't mean she hasn't did more. And she put out the call so that humanity could catch up with her, because she loved us that much. That's unconditional love. That's the law of one. And with that, I know that we could talk 3 hours, but I gotta go. Otherwise, Raw will have us here for another 3 hours.
Wow.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Whew.
So where do we go from here, everybody?
Here.
Where do we go from here, everybody?
Where do we go from here? Well, we go to episode 15. That's where we go. Friday,
Oh, man.
10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's where we go from here. Wednesday, join us.
See you guys then for episode 15 of Ascending Beyond Limitations.
Yes.
Thank you to all of you that have supported, to continue to show love, to be present in the space. And thank you to all of you that have been asking questions, participating, sharing the comments, sharing your knowledge and wisdom. That's what it's all about, is growing together as a community, growing together as equals, as a remembrance of being part of the one. Wholeness
Yes.
indeed.
Wholeness indeed. Wholeness indeed. The Law of One. And raw materials, I'm going to tell you, 5 books. 5 books.
This
We
might
got
be 100 episodes.
and we sprinkle it with the Kabbalion. We sprinkle it with the 3 waves of volunteers, the New Earth. We sprinkle it with the divine design. We season it with a little bit of Michael Beckwith. We season it with a little bit of books that we probably even haven't read yet.
Podcasts, all sorts of beautiful things. It's all community.
It's about growth, expansion. It's about shifting and evolving. And it brings it all back to the unique one that is called you. So thank you for joining us, Marcus and Sandee. Thank you for going beyond your limitations. Right? Ascension is more than just spirituality. Ascension is you. It is. It's you. It's evolving. It's you. There's no denying it. It's you. As Adam said, I and I. I am you, you are me. Madake matoko ate she sholoku uche natai. Tu shanataki ata. Senatokti adnemeki. Oloho ashe na ka lemeku shi shanada. Maana here tokse. So say naki kalu she te sha hundaki. Aluku o. Aleki matoko she. Aleki shi shanataka e. Oloho dai. Dayushe natake. Aleki bolikia handa e. Shenatu undakia. Aluku o. Shanataka. It's all for growth, expansion. Come play on the playground. Aloata ayata ishina. Aloada here na senataka te no koate. Shanato takia na iso. Salahia mahkoana kiasina lebukoa. Kaleva uchiana. Tako hate kia sesa la kuate me esa na taka. You're worthy. You were born that way. Liberated. But the what? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. As we close out, everybody, thank you all again. My final words is to remember whatever it is that you're trying to become, or whatever it is that you would like to have in your life. Just remember the process. Give yourself grace. Give yourself love. Just remembering that what it is that you want to embody, it's got to shift your being. It's going to recalibrate you. And through that process of becoming the full embodiment of what it is that you are wishing, There is a lot of value and a lot of beauty within the process. Remember that gentleness, remember that love. And try as you can to embrace the journey. Reach out for support whenever you need. We are all here together. Wholeness and balanced love, everybody.
Wholeness and balanced love. Be the creator you were meant to be. Just step into the unknown just for a little bit. Make just a little bit of it more known to you. And then go create. Thank you.
Ashe.
Ashe.